veins first. So we have the anterior vena cava, the common trunk of the mammary, of the internal mammaries, right? Then it branches into the right and left brachiocephalic veins. You have the internal jugular here that runs parallel to the common carotid that we just went over. That branches into an external jugular going up here, a subclavian vein here, and then the common trunk of costocervical and vertebral here. Can you see, Tim? You close enough?
Yeah.
All right, so then to jump back into the arteries. Okay, so this big arch is our aortic arch. We have our brachiocephalic artery coming right off of that, and then we have our left subclavian artery coming off of that. Now, brachiocephalic artery splits into the right subclavian here, and then the right common carotid and left common carotid. Now remember, there's little branches. This one is coming up ventrally, right, because this is ventral towards the stomach. And over here, there should be one as well, kind of falling down. Okay, so these two, this one and this one, those are internal mammary arteries. They're branching off of the subclavians. So remember that the left and the right subclavian are not symmetrical, right? You've got a brachiocephalic artery on the right side, the cat's right side of the aortic arch, and still a little bit on the left side of the body, or at least central. And then that branches into right subclavian, right common carotid, left common carotid, but then the left subclavian doesn't branch off the brachiocephalic. It branches off on its own further down the aortic arch here, okay? Also, once you pull back the aortic arch here, you can see the dorsal aorta continues down, and you can see these intercostal arteries coming off of it going to each rib, okay? So now we're gonna follow the left subclavian artery here. It goes right to the first rib and wraps right around that. Just past that first rib, it's called the axillary artery, and then once it's on the arm here, it's called the brachial artery. So we're going to go over the different branches of the left subclavian first. So we have 3 deep branches in a row. It's just a nerve. The first one is costocervical. No. It's vertebral, costocervical, thyrocervical, right?
Yeah.
So this one's vertebral, this one's costocervical, and this one's thyrocervical, right? And the way that you can remember that, vertebral for back, lower down, costocervical, costo for ribs, then that's like the next stage up, and then thyrocervical, thyro like to the thyroid gland, okay? So those are like sequentially in order, posterior to anterior. So vertebral, costocervical, thyrocervical, right? And then there's this one that branches up, what was that one? Ventral thoracic. Yeah, close. Okay, so then this one, where is it? This one was subscapular, wasn't it? Or was that further down? Oh yeah, it would be this one, because it's the only other one that comes ventrally. That would be the ventral thoracic, okay? So this, and that actually branches off of the axillary here, because after this first rib, now this is called the axillary, okay? So then this is the long thoracic artery, so, longer and going branching posteriorly, so long thoracic. And there's only one other branch that's really branching posterior on the brachial artery here, and that's the thoracodorsal. There's a lot of nerves here that get in the way. These are these white strands. But you can see this is the long thoracic, and the shorter parallel one to it that's more distal, meaning towards the paw, is the thoracodorsal here. So we have long thoracic and thoracodorsal. I remember I said we had 3 important anterior branches on the brachial artery after this ventral thoracic. we have subscapular, posterior humeral circumflex, and deep brachial, right? Do I remember all those right? Oh, I think I said posterior. That's, sorry, anterior humeral circumflex is this one. The posterior humeral circumflex we're not doing. It's like a branch off of the anterior. So we have subscapular, anterior humeral circumflex, and then the deep brachial. Okay? That's all.